Introduction to Full-Time Extreme Magic God. In the world of full-time mages, after decades of sea monster invasion, beneath the calm surface, there is a huge crisis hidden. The gradual strength of human magicians led people to attack the territories of various monsters, attempting to expand their living space. New magical apprentices gradually grew in this atmosphere, and only when they truly became stronger did they realize that everything was not so simple. Graduation Test. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. After experiencing major disasters such as global upheavals and the invasion of sea monsters, humanity has once again emerged strong. After decades of development, various countries have cultivated better magicians. Today, humans not only need to defend their homeland, but also need to move towards the territory of demons, expand their living space, and develop human civilization to a new height. In order to achieve this goal, various countries are striving to improve their level of magic, and many have made bold reforms. China is no exception. From junior high school to university, various reform measures promote the vigorous development of the magic industry, among which the reform of the middle school entrance examination is the most surprising for everyone. The current high school entrance examination is different from the past. Each subject not only needs to test theoretical knowledge, but also needs to undergo magic awakening in advance. Previously, magic awakening was only conducted after entering magic high school. Now, in order to recruit magic talents more comprehensively, magic awakening is conducted after graduating from middle school. Students who are not good at learning but can awaken from the magic department can also attend magic high school. However, there are two types of departments in the school. One is a combat-oriented fighting class, which has low requirements for cultural subjects and can only play. Another type is functional classes focused on magic research and architecture, which have high requirements for cultural courses and magic application, and belong to the top class category. Which parent doesn't want their child to enter top-tier classes? But for most people, being able to awaken to a magic major and have the opportunity to attend magic high school is already good. After all, not everyone can learn cultural courses well, and if their academic performance cannot be improved, there is no other choice but to hope to awaken to a magic major in the graduation test and attend magic high school. There are not many students in Yueching Third Middle School, only third-year graduates are waiting for graduation tests in their respective classrooms. Luo Chuan sits in the back row, leaning against the windowsill, looking at the empty playground. His family is relatively good, and his parents are both magicians. Although they are both beginner-level wizards, they work in government departments and magic associations and are relatively stable. In fact, parents could have become mid-level or even higher level mages, but at the age of school, they encountered the brutal invasion of sea monsters in coastal cities, wandering around for a long time, delaying their golden age to learn magic. At this point, they became beginner mages. His academic performance is not very good. Although he is not at the bottom, he is far behind in terms of the admission standards for functional classes. Therefore, Luo Chuan also understands his parents' expectations for him. It is enough to awaken to the magic department and attend magic high school. Unconsciously touching the bracelet on my left hand, I thought to myself. I hope that old Taoist didn't deceive me. Hey, his desk mate Zhang Ting called out to him. Graduation is coming soon, can you give me this bracelet as a souvenir? Luo Chuan didn't even reply, hee. You give me a price, I'll buy yours. Don't make a fuss, I've told you it's not for sale. You've been asking about it for almost 2 years, so why don't you give up and think about where to screw it if you can't wake up later? Can't you expect me to order something good? Zhang Ting was speechless. Seeing that it was still like that, he chatted with someone else. Luo Chuan looked at his bracelet and remembered that it was during the summer vacation of the first year of junior high school. His parents took him on a trip, resting in front of an unknown Taoist temple and preparing to continue climbing the mountain. An old Taoist came out and stopped him, giving him the bracelet as a gift to someone who was destined. At that time, he was afraid of being cheated out of money because he didn't dare to take it. The old Taoist repeatedly promised not to give it, and this thing could ensure that he would awaken his magic skills. Now, giving it to him was only to fulfill his old friend's wish before he dared to accept it. When he was leaving, the old Taoist also instructed him not to give it to others, only to wear it on his own, as holding it would pose a risk to his life for others. After saying this, he disappeared. Luo Chuan didn't believe it. Looking at this bracelet, he didn't know what material it was. It was like some kind of jade, 9 pieces in total, all yellow, with a circle of white edges on top and bottom, but each piece was a different yellow. There were 9 different types of yellow, including gold, earth yellow, orange yellow, etc. Each piece was a thin and flat arc shape, worn with a green rope, forming a ring right on the wrist. At this moment, a sharp-eyed person saw the bracelet and came over to ask if it was to be sold. Luo Chuan didn't take the words of the old Taoist seriously and wanted to sell it to the other party. However, as soon as the other party touched the bracelet, a section of the tree trunk inexplicably fell off the mountain and smacked at the two of them. Fortunately, Luo Chuan's parents were not far away and were both mages. They reacted quickly and pulled them apart, which frightened Luo Chuan a lot. He thought to himself, "Is what the old Taoist on horseback said true? Emotions are not a concern for others, but rather for myself." He told his parents about the bracelet, and Luo Chuan's parents also thought it was a bit strange, but they didn't notice anything unusual about the bracelet, and it may not be ordinary. He didn't feel like he was at a disadvantage. Anyway, he didn't spend any money and looked pretty. After putting it on, many classmates even cast envious glances, and he felt very proud. He has been wearing this bracelet ever since. At this moment, the door of the classroom opened and the homeroom teacher, Teacher Chiu, walked in. "It's quiet and quiet, everyone is seated, we'll have a test later." In fact, the reform of the middle school entrance examination has to be felt most deeply by the homeroom teachers who bring graduation classes. In the past, it was only necessary to take special care of those students who studied well, because they may become great wizards in the future, and they can also rise to great heights. But now it is different. Any student may awaken to the magic department, and they may become great wizards. Teachers also have to treat them equally. After all, middle school teachers are basically ordinary people, and not many are wizards. Even if there are, they are still beginner wizards. Who knows if any student can awaken to the amazing magic department? From then on, if they offend others, they will encounter a small belly chicken again. Intestinal, then we can still have a good life. With a word from the homeroom teacher, the classroom instantly quieted down. Everyone saw 2 people wearing the uniform of the Magic Association walking in, one in front and the other behind. The person in front was holding a notebook, and the person in the back was holding a box. They placed the box on the podium, took out a spherical stone from inside, and placed it on a base. The circular stone emitted a magical halo, and all the students watched their movements. At this moment, the homeroom teacher, Teacher Chiu, said, "Classmates, there are staff from the Magic Association below to do the magic awakening for everyone. We will call the names according to the roster and register them one by one." Another commotion erupted among the students, and they were finally about to start. This can be considered a soil type, right? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The person from the Magic Association nodded at the homeroom teacher, indicating that it was time to start. Teacher Chiu said, "First, Swaying." A medium-sized boy stood up and walked up to the podium with a nervous expression. The person from the Magic Association holding the notebook said, "Don't be nervous, just put your hand on it, close your eyes, and relax." Swaying walked over, closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and put his hand on the awakening stone. The awakening stone immediately emitted a white light. Good, Ice series, next. Although Swaying tried to control her own joy when she walked down, her smile on her face was still bright. I couldn't stop it, and all the classmates around me cast envious glances. Zhang Kaishu. The teacher called out another student and opened the Su Not Hai. He ran up and muttered to the members of the Magic Association, "I'm not nervous, I'm not nervous." Then he placed his hand on the awakening stone, and after a burst of light, "Wind, next." "Yeah. I'm wind." "Ha ha ha." The open Su ran back to his seat with excitement, surrounded by a commotion. Lu Min, the homeroom teacher, continued to call out the names of the students. Most of the 58 students in the class passed the test in a short while, leaving only 12 who didn't take the test. Among the students who finished the test, there were 11 students who couldn't wake up. These students were all lying on the table, feeling lethargic like eggplants made of frost, and a few with poor endurance were secretly shedding tears. Among them, there were also students who did well in cultural subjects. If they could wake up magic, they would be good candidates to enter the top class. But now they can only go to ordinary high schools. Since the early reform of magic awakening began, every year there are some students who can't help but cry, even dying. Luo Chuan looked at them and thought to himself, if I can't wake up, can I really go screw it? My grades in cultural courses are already not good, and I can't go to a regular high school. If I can't go to this magic high school again, I dare not think, I dare not think. Zhao Xiaoxia. The homeroom teacher called out the name of a student, and a girl stood up. The eyes of the whole class instantly focused. This was the goddess of the class, not only learning from good people, but also beautiful. Her fair skin, agile eyes, and long hair that was off her shoulders. The boy who had a crush on her was one after another, and Luo Chuan was no exception. However, he did not show it. He knew that there was still a big gap between him and her, and he needed to become a powerful magician to prove that he deserved her. This was also one of his motivations to become a magician. I saw Zhao Xiaoxia steadily walking onto the podium, placing her hand on the awakening stone. The awakening stone flashed a strange light, which none of her classmates had seen before. Everyone was discussing what kind of magic department this was. But when he saw the people from the two magic associations, he first showed a surprised expression and then turned into a surprise. The person in charge of registration couldn't hide his excitement and said, This is the Department of Mind. The students below were instantly overwhelmed. The Department of Mind. I haven't heard of it. Feeling really amazing. The staff of the Magic Association said, Congratulations, classmate. You have awakened the Department of Mind in white magic. For students like you who awaken white magic, we have a specialized white magic school to teach you professionally. You can discuss with your family and come to the Magic Association next Monday if you are willing to do further education. Procedure: this is the special recruitment notice card from the Magic Association. Just bring this card. Now the class is on fire again, isn't it? Special recruitment. A specialized school. So good. Why am I not a white magic? Zhao Xiaoxia asked with some confusion, do I have to go? Of course not, but it would be a pity if you don't go. All the white magic schools are high school and university connected, and there are occasional lecturers from the Parthenon Temple to teach. Those with excellent grades can also go to the Parthenon Temple for further studies. If you don't go, there won't be these opportunities. Zhao Xiaoxia thought for a moment and said, I will seriously consider it. As she accepted the card, she walked back to her seat, and now the students even had the heart to jump off the building. People are more infuriating than people. Teacher Chiu is so happy now that a white magic has appeared in his class. Special recruit. Let's double our bonus this year. But he still had to remain calm and cleared his throat, saying, Quiet, everyone, quiet down. Next up, Luo Chuan. When Luo Chuan heard his name being called out, he stood up and walked up to the podium, but his classmates were still immersed in the shock they had just experienced and couldn't come to their senses. They were discussing in a low, chirping voice. Luo Chuan didn't care either. He closed his eyes and placed his hand on the awakening stone. At this moment, the bracelet in his hand flickered with a light, and it disappeared instantly without anyone noticing. As Luo Chuan placed his hand on the awakening stone, he felt as if he had entered an endless starry sky. Is this his own space of consciousness? He observed the space and found that a group of earthy yellow clouds were gradually gathering not far away, becoming more and more obvious. It seemed that the color was also getting darker. No, why is it getting lighter again? Look at this color, it should be a soil type, right? Why is the color constantly changing? A bit familiar. Damn it. Isn't this the same color as the bracelet? Luo Chuan suddenly realized something. Can this bracelet from Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com really awaken him to magic? Don't worry about the genre, just wake up. At this moment, the two staff members of the Magic Association standing next to him glanced at each other and whispered, "Is this earth type? Is it light type? Look again, why does this color still change?" At this moment, the students below also noticed the change in the podium. Is this earth type? It's not like it, it's not the same color as the previous earth types. Sun Qianshan, is it your earth type? Is this the same color as yours? It's about the same, but how do you feel that there are several different yellow colors mixed together? Teacher Chiu's mood was very complicated at this moment. Is this another special earth type or will it fail? I hope it's special, then I'll show my face. If I were two special recruits, promotion and salary increase would be just around the corner. At this moment, the light dissipated, and Luo Chuan opened his eyes and asked in confusion, "Have I awakened yet?" The members of the Magic Association finally realized that they were just thinking about what the situation was, and they didn't notice that it was over. They quickly asked, "Did you see the nebula? What color?" "Ah, there was a nebula that changed back and forth at first, but now it's earthy yellow." Luo Chuan didn't dare to say that it was a mixture of 9 yellow colors, so he just knew about this special situation. Anyway, he had already determined it was earthy, so the rest was not important. Well, that should be the earth type. As for the color change, it may be due to your unstable nebula magic ability. After a period of meditation, it will be better. Luo Chuan walked back to his seat, and his classmates were all grateful. Earth type, what special thing should I have? How can I survive with another one? Scared the baby, I said he didn't have such a good life. Teacher Chiu was a bit disappointed, but he continued to call his name for testing. Cultivation. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In less than a morning, all 3 classes had completed their tests. A total of 12 students did not pass the awakening and were unable to enter the Magic High School to become wizards. 2 students awakened to the fire department, and there was also a special recruitment student from the soul department, which can be said to be one of the few good grades in history. The class leader was overjoyed. After seeing off the 2 staff members of the Magic Association, he said to the whole class, all right, the tests have been completed. First of all, congratulations to the students who awakened to the Magic Department. You can start practicing this vacation. I am not a magician, and I don't quite understand the specifics, but I know that entering Magic High School requires separate assessments. Vacation. The efforts made in middle school have determined your division of classes and resource allocation in high school. I hope you can work hard. He paused and said, don't be discouraged if you don't have the ability to awaken magic. There are more than one path in life, and I am not a magician. Many people who are better than me are not magicians, and they can have a wonderful life just like magicians. This sentence made those students who had buried their heads in the table because they were not awakened lift their heads. Some nodded as if they understood something, while others looked at the teacher in confusion. Although not everyone who was not awakened understood, they would eventually understand this sentence. Teacher Chiu walked out of the classroom and was about to report to the principal when he saw the homeroom teachers of Class 2 and Class 1 talking about something. He thought to himself, I guess they are awakening more than any other class. At this moment, when I saw him coming over, I greeted him and said, "Old Chiu, how is your class?" The homeroom teacher of class 1 was like winning a lottery, and couldn't hide his excitement. "Let me tell you, this time we have 9 classes, and I am the first one. Do you believe me?" Teacher Chiu pretended to be surprised and asked him, "Is it really fake? What's the situation in your class?" "Huh, 3 fire and 1 thunder, how is it?" "It's so amazing." Teacher Chiu pretended to be shocked and glanced at the homeroom teacher of class 2. He smiled bitterly and didn't speak, so he asked him, "What's going on with you?" "Ah. No fire, no fire. Lay, don't mention it." At this moment, the homeroom teacher of class 7 walked over and was a female teacher. When she saw them, she said, "How are you? I found a treasure, the healing department." "I didn't expect it, the healing department, the special recruitment student." The homeroom teacher of class 1 looked at her with an incredulous expression and said, "The healing department." Teacher Chiu pretended to be calm and said, "We have a soul department student, who is also a special recruitment student." The homeroom teacher of a class suddenly felt that Lay's style was not popular anymore. "I finally met a Lay's style, and you are both healing and spiritual, making it difficult for people to live." On the way home, Luo Chuan discussed today's awakening with 2 other classmates. They both live in the same community and have a good relationship. Today, they have successfully awakened magic. One of the tall and skinny boys with glasses said to the other, who was relatively sturdy, "Guan Guan, you can do it. Light system, I heard that the stronger you go, the stronger you can attack and defend." The boy who was called Guan Xingyao said, "In the early stages, I wasn't weak yet. I also had to be promoted to a high-level mage. It's good for ordinary people like us to be able to reach a mid-level mage." Luo Chuan asked him, "Why? Why can't we reach a high-level?" "Yes, I still need to reach a super level." Guan Xingyao patted the tall and skinny boy's shoulder and said, "Zhang Jun, it's not me hitting you. Do you think those aristocratic families, clans, and large corporations have so many powerful mages? Do you know the resources? They have resources that you can't imagine in their hands, and money is secondary. They don't lack all kinds of magic tools, spirit seeds, and so on. What do we have?" Zhang Jun is still not convinced. "If we have those things, we can't surpass them." Guan Xingyao said, "Don't believe it. In a few days, I'll take you to meet someone." I finally got to know the disciples of the big family. The disciples of the big family and the foundation are all studying at number 1 middle school. If it weren't for the 2 special recruitment students in our school today, they would probably have been a burden. 2 special recruitment students. Luo Chuan asked in surprise, "Who else? What kind of department? You don't know, why don't you walk around a lot when you're free?" Zhang Jun also said, "You don't even know such a big thing. Class 7 seems to be called Lu Shanshan, a healing department." "Okay, I'm ignorant now." Luo Chuan was speechless, the healing department. Thinking to myself, how about I talk about this special soil system and the school? Can we switch to a special recruit? Let's just forget it, it's just a soil type. What if it's special? Don't let me be treated as a heretic, it's better to be safe. Go home first and ask your parents what's going on, and focus on practicing. Luo Chuan is originally a person who is not very talkative and tends to be more cautious when looking for books at www.zhaozhuiyuan.com. Therefore, in such situations, it is more conservative to ask for the opinions of parents. After returning home, Luo Chuan told his parents about his awakening today. When he heard that he had awakened to the soil, his parents were overjoyed. Father Luo Ming opened a bottle of good wine that had been stored for 30 years, and Mother Dong Shuzhen had already prepared a table of good dishes. The family should celebrate well. During the meal, Luo Chuan explained his special situation with his earthly lineage. His parents were also unsure of the situation. His mother said, "Go check for you tomorrow, if you can't find it, I'll inquire about it. As long as your health is normal, it's fine." I'm fine. That's fine. Let's focus on practicing and teach you how to practice meditation later. At this moment, Luo Chuan suddenly thought of his mother working in the library, who has had a lot of experience in this area. He quickly said, "Can you also check this bracelet? I feel that the abnormality of the earthy lineage is related to it." His father said, "Well, I checked it back then, but I didn't find anything, and now it seems to be true. To awaken magic, one can start from this aspect," said the mother. "Okay, no problem, come and eat this pork rib and stew it all afternoon." After finishing his meal, Luo Chuan began his first meditation under the guidance of his parents. At first, it was not smooth and he couldn't feel anything. After nearly 2 hours of busyness, he finally entered the consciousness space again. This time, he looked at the star in his earthy nebula, gradually feeling the beat of the star, mastering the rules of its movement, and gradually preparing to gather the second star. The next morning, Luo Chuan realized that he had spent more time practicing meditation than his parents had said, about an hour more. This excited him a lot. This special soil system is still very useful. In this way, Luo Chuan began his meditation in the following days. In order to achieve good results in the opening test of Magic High School and gain more resources, Luo Chuan worked tirelessly. Stardust Magic Tool. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the past few days of hard meditation in Luo Chuan, his parents have also been busy with his special Earth-type nebula and bracelet, but there have been no results. They can only tell Luo Chuan not to speak up. Currently, what can be confirmed is that this Earth type has no defects, and the magic energy is relatively abundant, more than ordinary Earth-type magic energy. There is more time for meditation than others, which is a good thing. But his progress in meditation is indeed a bit fast. In just a week, he has already cultivated the second star child. Even if he has more magic power than others, the meditation time is longer, and it will take more than 10 days to be reliable. This is only a week, so his parents think that this bracelet may be a Stardust magic tool, or it may have the function of a Stardust magic tool. Stardust magic tool. Luo Chuan was surprised. He knew it was very valuable, but he didn't expect the old Taoist to give him a Stardust magic tool. He asked with uncertainty, "Isn't this thing very valuable? Did someone really give me this as a gift?" His mother said, "It may be a Stardust magic tool, which looks functional but not like it because Stardust magic tools cannot awaken magic. Can you try to enter the internal space of this bracelet with your mind?" Internal space. Luo Chuan closed his eyes in confusion and felt that the bracelet seemed to be connected to his own consciousness space. He first saw his Saturn nebula spinning in the starry sky, and then a teleportation channel appeared deep in the starry sky, which seemed to be a teleportation channel. When the consciousness touched the formation, it felt like a flower in front of me. A dazzling light flashed past me, and I entered a vast expanse of land. There was nothing but the earth, an endless expanse of yellow-brown land. The sky was blue, with no shadows of clouds, and it was a bit eerie. Luo Chuan tried to walk around and found that the land was similar to the outside, but very dry with no feeling of moisture. There was no sun in the sky, but it still gave people a feeling of heat. After walking for a while, the surroundings remained the same, without any other changes. He simply withdrew from his consciousness and left that strange space. After coming out, he told his mother about the scene he saw. After thinking for a while, his mother told him, "This should be some kind of ancient vessel with the function of a Stardust magic tool. I have found some information in the library archives. Some magical powers or families in ancient times would seal their magical inheritance or wealth in a special space. These special spaces, on the surface, are some ordinary objects, mostly appearing in the form of necklaces, rings, bracelets, earrings and other jewelry. The function of Stardust magic tools should only be their basic function, and there should be other more powerful functions. When people make these vessels, the main idea is to make them powerful. The inheritance of magical concepts enables those who inherit them to quickly become stronger. Luo Chuan asked inexplicably, why don't they pass on powerful magic to their descendants and put it in these vessels? Can no one among their descendants inherit these things? My mother's expression was somewhat gloomy. These inheritance items should only be used when facing a life or death decision or a major disaster. As long as these inheritance items are used, it means they have suffered a catastrophic disaster. In order to prevent their magical civilization and concepts from completely disappearing in the long river of history, Luo Chuan had to use these inheritance vessels. Luo Chuan felt like he had found a treasure. This could be a magical inheritance vessel, isn't it that you've made a fortune? Can't there be any treasure inside this inheritance vessel? How else can we accelerate cultivation? But there's nothing in that so-called inheritance space, okay? Mom, but there's nothing in this bracelet space. What's going on? I don't know, and the information available is very limited. These are all legends. If anyone had such an inheritance vessel, how could they possibly reveal it to others? Isn't that thought-provoking? There are also cases of killing people and stealing goods for the sake of resource treasures, so don't say it out loud. Although it's not necessarily an inheritance vessel, even a Stardust demon weapon will be envied by many people. Mom, don't worry, I'm not stupid. This thing can accelerate cultivation. Refining speed, I just need to enjoy it myself. As far as our own family knows, I won't say it to anyone else. In the evening, Luo Chuan was preparing for meditation when Guan Xingwei called and said, Chuan, I'll take you to see the world next Wednesday. Guanghui Manor, do you know? I'll take you all to Guanghui Manor then. Guanghui Manor. I've heard of it, isn't it a big family? Can we enter? Don't worry, I've already found good people. They're going to hold a celebration ceremony that day and invited many people, so we're just going to watch the fun. Okay, I'll wait for you at home. I'll tell Zhang Jun, goodbye. After hanging up the phone, Luo Chuan thought, it's a good time to go see how powerful the legendary descendants of the aristocratic family are. I've always heard of them. What kind of magicians have emerged in the first high school where these children of aristocratic families are located? How strong is the Awakened Magic Department at the Book Garden www.zhaosuiyuan.com? Let's go verify this time. Wednesday is coming soon, and the third star of Luo Chuan has also begun to form a model these days. It should not be long before it forms. At around 9 o'clock in the morning, Guan Xingwei picked up a car and pulled Luo Chuan to Guanghui Manor. Zhang Jun was already in the car, and Luo Chuan asked them, what celebration event is it? We're just going in like this. Guan Xingwei excitedly said, 3 of their families graduated from number 1 middle school this year, and they have awakened 1 Thunder series and 2 Light series. The Ming family is already a Light series family, and this time there is a Thunder series. Of course, we need to show it in front of other families. I know the Awakened Light series won, and he asked me to bring a few more people to make it more lively. The louder the momentum, the better, Zhang Jun explained. Belonging to a group performance, it's equivalent to a passerby. Guan Xingwei said awkwardly, your description is similar. From a distance, one can see a large number of cars parked outside the Guanghui Manor, with various luxury cars everywhere. People enter the gate in groups of 3 or 2, and many courtesans and waiters stand in 2 rows at the entrance. When a distinguished guest arrives, they go to guide the way. Of course, Luo Chuan and his colleagues are not qualified to be guided. After entering the hall, they follow the sign to the hall. In fact, they have set up many pavilions on a lawn, and many buffet tables. There are all kinds of food, dim sum, and drinks to eat at will. Here are people who have no status and status. These people are all here to add atmosphere. Luo Chuan and his team are just here to watch the excitement. They don't have any social status or status at all. They just eat and drink, why bother so much? However, there are many students here who are about the same age as them, and it seems that several high schools have them. Luo Chuan looked around and found that a group of people seemed to be walking towards them. To find faults. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Luo Chuan watched as the group of people walked towards them, and Guan Xingwei and Zhang Jun also noticed them. Guan Xingwei saw the leader with a gloomy expression on his face. Zhang Jun asked him, "Who are they?" The fat guy in the leader's name is Su Hui, and they are all from number 2 middle school. They used to be a bit out of line. At this moment, the leader named Su Hui came to him and said, "Oh, isn't this a little obedient, manager? Why don't you stay at home and don't you be afraid that I'll burn your hair with a torch? Ha ha ha, you light-colored little scumbag." Guan Xingwei staring at him, "Aren't you just awakening a fire type? What's so crazy? It seems like you can release magic now." "I can't release it now, but in the future, you will be able to release magic, which is just an electric light bulb." Zhang Jun said, "What's wrong with the light type? It seems that your school hasn't awakened a light type." Su Hui looked at him contemptuously. "How can our school be stronger than you? Isn't your 3rd middle school producing 2 special students this year? What else?" There were also many students from the 2nd and 3rd middle schools around, and upon hearing their conversation, they gradually gathered around. A scene of 2 groups of people confronting each other was formed. On a high platform in the distance, there were several young people sitting around. They looked at the noisy scene below, and one of the girls said, "What are those 2 scumbag school kids arguing about?" A slightly elegant boy with glasses pushed his glasses and said, "Whatever they do, they wake up to a magic department and don't know their surname. Do they really know how magic is practiced? Without resources, they are nothing." The girl approached him and said, "Xia Linsheng, has your 2nd star been lit up?" Xia Linsheng ignored her and turned to look at the girl in the seat, only to see that she was wearing a whole outfit. A light blue long skirt, short hair, with 2 cartoon hairpins, leaning against a chair with closed eyes, unsure of what was on her mind. "Minjiweki, what are you thinking? Has your 2nd star already lit up?" The girl named Minjiweki didn't open her eyes, just let out a A few other people around cast surprised glances, and the girl exclaimed in surprise, "So fast. I still have 4 or 5 days." A boy with yellow hair and earrings flattered him, saying, "Chi-Chi is the pride of our number 1 middle school." This time, he awakened again from the Thunder faction, and his cultivation speed is of course fast. "You are the protagonist of this party." Minjiweki sat up and looked at the yellow-haired boy with sharp eyes. "Don't call me Chi-Chi. Shangda, this is my last warning." The yellow-haired boy cleverly shrank to one side, and just now the girl said to the other 2 male students, "Mingbiao, Mingtan, this is a celebration specially organized for the 3 of you. It's almost time for a fight below. Yu Chi doesn't care, and you don't care either. Isn't it really good to fight?" The other few also looked at Mingbiao and Mingtan. "All right, let's see what these scumbags are fussing about." Mingtan patted Mingbiao who was eating the cake and said, "Let's go." "Are you still eating when you're so fat?" Mingbiao's not really fat, but he's taller and stronger. He picked up a piece of cake, ate it while walking, and said to Mingtan, "It's delicious, don't you want a piece?" Shangda and a few others also followed along, leaving only Minjiweki, Xia Linsheng, and the girl behind. Minjiweki finally stood up, moved for a moment, turned around, and walked towards the central venue, turning her head and saying, "Qian Daodu, let's go. There will be more business to attend to later, don't delay the start of the ceremony." Qian Daodu glanced at the 2 groups of people who were facing each other below, and then looked at Minjiweki who was walking further and further away. She reluctantly followed up and didn't forget to instruct Xia Linsheng, "Help me watch more, tell me the process later." After that, she hurriedly chased Minjiweki. Chi Jie. Wait for me. The two groups of people below the high platform were exposing and cursing each other, neither letting anyone, nor daring to actually take action. After all, it was at someone else's celebration ceremony or a big family they couldn't afford to provoke. Even if they were still young children now, they were not foolish. They all wanted the opposite side to take action first, so that they wouldn't be at fault. They were arguing when Mingtan Mingdiao led the people from the high platform over and said, "What are you arguing about? Don't you know what day it is today?" Shang De spoke first. The two groups of people quickly quieted down when they saw that Mingtan Mingbiao had arrived. They were the masters. Mingtan said to them, "If you have any problems, go outside and solve them." Su Hui smiled obsequiously and nodded and bowed, saying, "Brother Tan, it's me, shall we? We're not trying to disturb your interest, it's just because of the morale of these people from number 3 middle school. Isn't there anything remarkable about having 2 special admissions? Who is qualified to sit on the same level as number 1 middle school?" Guan Xingwei quickly looked at Ming Biao. "Brother Biao, we don't mean that. We're here to help with the excitement." Ming Tan looked at the people on both sides, and he was also quite unhappy with number 3 middle school because there were 2 special admissions. This year's trend has overshadowed their first high school, which is basically considered an aristocratic school. They are all children of wealthy families and have many resources to support them. When will others step on their heads, so they don't have much good temper towards Guan Xingwei and his classmates? You from the 3rd high school. Helping with the fun. What's going on? Rolling on the ground. Or just jumping for everyone naked. And using you to help with the fun. After saying this, Guan Xingwei's face turned red and he was so angry that he didn't say a word for a long time. Ming Biao remained silent. Obviously, he didn't intend to help him say a word, and the other people in 3rd middle school didn't expect it to be like this. He didn't know what to do for a while, and Luo Chuan was also very angry. Although he was very cautious in his actions, he was also very irritable when he got angry. He casually said, "We provoked you." "What do you mean?" Ming Tan said coldly when he saw someone daring to speak, "What do you mean? You don't like me, can't you?" Luo Chuan didn't get used to him either. "I still don't like you. Yo. You can do it." Ming Tan laughed instead of getting angry. "Get out of here, this place doesn't welcome you. Go away. Do you think I'm willing to waste time with someone like you?" Luo Chuan pointed to Su Hui and said, "You're like that fat guy said, you'll be a light bulb in the future." After saying that, he walked out. "What do you mean? Who's talking about a light bulb? I owe you a beating." Ming Tan roared from behind, and Zhang Jun also walked out. He turned around and pointed to Su Hui, saying, "Just now he came over and said that everything in the light system is garbage, and he'll be a light bulb in the future. That's why we started arguing." Then, along with the other people from 3rd middle school, Guan Xingwei looked at Ming Biao and sighed in his heart. I also followed along. At this moment, Ming Tan looked at Su Hui and said, "You said all the light bulbs are light bulbs." Su Hui explained incoherently, "No, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about that, I'm talking about him, I'm talking about people from 3rd middle school. Get out." Ming Tan glared fiercely at Su Hui. He hated others talking about light bulbs the most, and pointed his hand out. "Get out of here. Don't let me see you again, otherwise I'll hit your mother and she won't even know you. Get out." Su Hui hit the gun, and he forgot that Mingtan Mingbiao was also light bulbs. This can be considered an offense. Up, quickly ran out of the manor, and the others saw that things were not right, so they all dispersed. Work hard to cultivate it. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Luo Chuan and his group came out of the manor. Due to the incident just now, everyone was still holding back their anger and didn't disperse. They walked back together, discussing as they walked, did the people from number 2 middle school intentionally do it. The grandson of Ming Tan, who has a dog's eye, looks down on people. Damn it. I really want to beat them up. Isn't Ming Tan Mingbiao just a light system? What's so crazy about it? Zhang Jun said to them, everyone is from the same school. When we reach Magic High School, we will have to be in the same school as those from number 1 middle school and number 2 middle school. In order to avoid being bullied by them in the future, let's build a group and bring ourselves together. Organize everyone. The others came from various classes and agreed with him. They immediately built a group and pulled everyone into it, and then went back to contact the people in their own class to join the group. Guan Xingwei walked silently. Today, he felt ashamed. Zhang Jun comforted him and said, don't take it to heart. Su Hui, that bastard, just wants to disgust you. If you fall for it, you'll lose. Guan Xingwei sighed and said, hey. I was originally thinking of finding a big family to hold on to my thigh, so that I wouldn't be bullied when I went to Magic High School. It seems like they don't even look up to us. Luo Chuan said to him, what's so great about their big family? We should cultivate well, and in the future, we won't necessarily be worse than them. Even if they have more resources, what's wrong with them? Just like them. Humph, there won't be anything like them in the future. As a great achievement, I have become stronger and not have all the resources I need. Yeah, they look down on us, and we're not worth killing them. Guan Xingwei felt a little relieved when he saw the two of them say this. That's right, we still have to be brothers. Ha ha ha, let's go black. Oh, no. Hurry up and practice. After that, the three of them went back, chatting and laughing. In the conference hall of Guanghui Manor, Mingtan and Mingbiao walked in. Mingyue Qi saw Mingtan's gloomy face, and a cold smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. She turned her head and ignored him. Qian Daodu had already heard the general situation from Xiao Linsheng, but couldn't help but run over and ask, what's going on? What's going on? Mingtan was in a bad mood and ignored her. He walked straight to the reserved seat for him and sat down. Ming Biao said, don't bother him anymore. He was in a bad mood and was just scolded by a few poor ghosts. How did he curse? What did he curse? Qian Daodu couldn't help but ask, and Ming Biao said awkwardly, why are you so worried? You're not called gossip anymore. You're called Jiren Scar, you know. After that, he walked back to his position and didn't speak. After that, Qian Daodu had to return to Mingyue Qi's place and sit down muttering, it's really boring, talk about what you're afraid of. Mingyue Qi leaned back in her seat and said, you should hurry up and practice. Don't worry, if your grades are too poor during the Magic High School entrance exam, we won't be able to get into the same class. Qian Daodu made a face and went to inquire with others. Mingyue Qi closed her eyes helplessly, and the celebration was about to begin. She had to adjust her state, I am the protagonist of this time. Mingtan said to Mingbiao, this group of garbage dared to scold me. If it weren't for today's family celebration, I wouldn't clean them up. Mingtan said in his ear. I think that Su Hui from number 2 middle school is a good dog that can bite people. Give him some sweets. When the Magic High School starts, let him take people with him. Hee, you know. Mingtan suddenly said. Yes. You're still smart, ha ha ha. Luo Chuan and his team were unaware that someone had already started targeting them. Along the way, they analyzed the prospects of the Magic High School. There was only one Magic High School in Moon City, which was Xingyao Magic High School. All students who had passed the middle school entrance exam to awaken magic would spend their 3 years in Xingyao Magic High School. Due to the clear hierarchical division of the 3 middle schools, students from Xingyao Magic High School naturally divided into 3 groups. Most of the groups composed of the children of the big family and the foundation came from number 1 middle school. Although they were small in number, with a maximum of 2 classes per class and more than 50 people, they had the support of family resources and their cultivation speed was often relatively fast. The children of some urban managers and children from affluent families form a group from number 2 middle school, which is not large in number. Each class consists of about 3 or 4 classes, usually 150 or 60 people. Although they cannot match the resources of large families and consortia, they also have some accumulation. The group with the largest number of people is mainly composed of students from the 3rd middle school, which is composed of ordinary families. They do not have their own cultivation resources and can only rely on competing for limited cultivation resources in the school. However, this resource still needs to be left over from the 2 groups because it is difficult to compete with them, and they will win at the starting line. Of course, there are also a small number of people who, with their own efforts and talents, stand out in the encirclement of the big family and become the objects of the big family's attraction. However, most people can only go to hug their thighs and become younger brothers to exchange for a little bit of cultivation resources. The children of various major families and conglomerates also need to gather a group of people to prepare for future competition within the family. Of course, legitimate disciples must compete for the core rights of the family, which requires power and people. In order to enhance their family's position in the family, collateral children will attract talents for their supported legitimate children, forming a network in which most people are. At first, Guan Xingwei's idea was to embrace the Ming family's thigh, but now it seems that it is no longer feasible. Zhang Jun doesn't have such ideas. He is a top student who can enter the functional class, and his cultivation resources are not so urgent. Luo Chuan is a fighter who, like Guan Xingwei, requires a large amount of resources, but he does not want to be manipulated by others. The 3 of them discussed for a long time, and in the end, Luo Chuan leaned on Guan Xingwei's shoulder and said, "Let's just spend our lives practicing. There's nothing else we can do." Guan Xingwei also accepted his fate. "What else can we do? Give it a try, can't we make it? Isn't there still Zhang Jun?" Luo Chuan agreed and said, "Yes, your functional class focuses on theoretical knowledge, and there is little demand for magical resources. With your level of theoretical knowledge, you can enter the Magic Association in the future. Don't forget us then." Zhang Jun said awkwardly, "You're so optimistic about me. If I become developed, how could I forget about you?" The 3 of them planned a beautiful future. Luo Chuan thought about his bracelet and said, "I hope this is really a heritage vessel. If I can obtain an ancient heritage, I still lack some resources." Xingyao Magic High School. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The summer vacation passed quickly, and Luo Chuan spent his time in almost crazy cultivation. The reason was that he saw in some legendary stories that the treasures in the inheritance vessel were not something that could be obtained just because he wanted to. He needed to meet certain requirements, such as reaching the level where a first-level mage could open a first-level treasure, and reaching the level where a middle-level mage could open a middle-level treasure. He was only awakened now, and the star child had not yet condensed and was not considered a first-level mage, but a magic apprentice. Therefore, he also sacrificed his life to cultivate for the treasure. What if there is a treasure? Isn't that all for now? Who hasn't had a lottery dream yet? Luo Chuan is already a bit greedy, let alone he thinks that this treasure is more reliable than lottery. After awakening to earth magic, his bracelet has the function of a Stardust magic tool, which does not necessarily mean that opening a treasure requires upgrading the level. Luo Chuan now thinks about the moment when he completes the condensation of the stars, the scene where the treasure suddenly appears. How beautiful. What else has more cultivation motivation than this? It was in this drive of ineffective longing for treasures that Luo Chuan condensed 6 stars in just 2 months. This cultivation speed even amazed the legitimate children of the big family. If it weren't for the Stardust magic tool and his own far superior magical abilities, Luo Chuan could not have condensed 6 stars. It would be good for students from other ordinary families to condense 3 stars, but only 5 children from the big family. It is only with sufficient resources that individuals can condense 6 stars. Luo Chuan's 7th star has already begun to take shape, and he is full of expectations for the upcoming Magic High School opening test. Xingyao Magic High School has welcomed a new round of students, and the regular magic test will determine everyone's class division and resource allocation for the year. Principal Zheng stood on the podium and looked at the students on the playground below. He solemnly said, "Classmates, welcome you to Xingyao Magic High School. Here, first of all, we congratulate you on successfully awakening magic and embarking on the path of a wizard." Applause rang out from the audience, and Principal Zheng glanced at the crowd and continued, "When you come to Xingyao Magic High School, you must remember the mission and responsibility of a wizard. No one here has any privilege, and all cultivation resources rely on your own efforts. Perhaps some people's families will provide you with quite abundant cultivation resources, but the school's resources only depend on individual efforts and grades. I hope you can achieve your ideal results through your own efforts. Now you will conduct magic tests in order." The students on the playground were divided into 10 teams under the organization of the school teacher, and went to the 10 stone pillars under the chairman's podium to wait for the test. A female teacher in her 50s walked up to them and said, "My surname is Wang, and I am the teaching director of your class. The stone pillar in front of you is a magic detection stone. You should register your name with the teacher in order, inject magic energy into the detection stone, and determine your magic energy level based on the scale on the detection stone. The magic energy level does not depend on the number of stars, but only on your meditation time. The higher the scale, the longer the meditation time. The bonus of auxiliary tools such as Stardust magic tools will not be included in it. It all depends on your hard work and cultivation. Alright, let's start." As soon as these words are spoken, many children of big families and conglomerates feel like they have been slaughtered. Last year, they did not test like this. Isn't this wiping out their absolute advantage? Many of them relied on having sufficient resources and did not give their all during the meditation time, which led to them being knocked back to their original form. Zhang Jun turned to Luo Chuan and Guan Xingwei and said, "It's good that I practice until the magic energy is light every day, what about you?" Luo Chuan said, I also have nothing left every day." Guan Xingwei said, "I almost practiced my brain again." The first person in their team went up, registered their names, and placed their hands on the testing stone. After a while, the testing stone rose up a beam of light, starting from below, and stopped when it reached 5. The registration teacher glanced at it and said, "C level, next." The second student rose to the number 7, B level, next. 1. Guan Xingwei whispered, 9 and 10 are A, right. The two numbers are in the same level, right. Luo Chuan agreed deeply. It should be. Zhang Jun was about to test, and he turned around and said, "Look at me." He walked over and said to the registration teacher, "Zhang Jun." The old teacher glanced at him and wrote down his name, saying, "Put your hand on the testing stone, release your magic energy." Zhang Jun put his hand on the testing stone to release his magic energy, and saw that the beam of light rising from the testing stone continued to rise, exceeding the number 9, and headed towards 10. The crowd of onlookers exclaimed in surprise. Someone rushed to 10. Is it really fake? Damn it. But halfway through, they stopped and finally returned to the number 9. A. Level, pretty good, next. The registration teacher also gave a rare compliment. Luo Chuan walked over and said to Zhang Jun as he walked down, "You're good." Zhang Jun scratched his head awkwardly, "I didn't expect it either. Look at me." After that, Luo Chuan went to the registration teacher and registered his name. He placed his hand on the testing stone, and a beam of light rushed directly from the bottom to the top. The onlookers didn't react yet. The registration teacher widened his eyes and looked at the beam of light that rushed to the top, which exceeded 10, right. The maximum number is only 10, and with an incredulous tone, Luo Chuan said, 10 points, a level. At this point, the students below suddenly realized and exploded with excitement. 10 points, there are full marks. I'll go. There are really 10 points. Who is this? Full marks. Luo Chuan also didn't expect himself to be 10 points. He wanted to have an A level at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, but he didn't expect it to be full marks. Just as he was about to go back, he heard another exclamation of surprise from the testing stone on the other side, another 10 points. What a ghost. So many 10 points. That's Mingyue Qi. Goddess. Luo Chuan thought as he walked back, Mingyue Qi. The awakened thunder type of the Ming family is the protagonist of the Glory Manor celebration. She didn't appear at that time, and I didn't expect she was also a cultivator. Guan Xingwei said to Luo Chuan who walked back, "Me, you're good. Look at me for a 10.2, believe it. Believe it, it's necessary." Guan Xingwei was in a big mood. "Okay, walk over for the test, 9 points, A. level. Next." With the voice of the registration teacher falling, Guan Xingwei walked back a bit unwilling and said to Luo Chuan and Zhang Jun, "I didn't get to 10 points, oh." Zhang Jun said, "It's okay. At least you can be in the same class now." At this moment, someone exclaimed, 10 points, another 10 points. Wang Yunkai from the Houting Foundation. He also got 10 points. Luo Chuan looked at a handsome boy walking back into the crowd in the distance. I thought to myself, these wealthy families are also very hard-working in their cultivation. Not all of them are stubborn towards their children. It seems that I still can't relax, otherwise I might be left further and further away by them. The start of school test came to an end soon, and there were no surprises in dividing the classes according to the test level. Firstly, there were functional classes. Due to the small number of functional classes, there were only 2 classes. Those rated A and B were in functional class 1, while others were in functional class 2. Zhang Jun, Luo Chuan, and Guan Xingwei greeted each other and followed the teacher in charge to the classroom of functional class 1. The fighting class was divided into more detailed classes, all of which were A. level. As expected, Luo Chuan and Guan Xingwei were divided together. There were 2 classes in B. level, and 5 classes below C. level. The division was completed, and the teachers of each class took their students back to their own classrooms. Where is the agreed treasure? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The opening test of Xingyao Magic High School this time exceeded everyone's expectations. Previously, the opening test was related to the level of cultivation, and the number of stars determined the score of the test. Therefore, with the help of auxiliary cultivation tools such as Stardust magic, the children of the big family often occupied more cultivation resources. The division of classes this time allowed more students from ordinary families who were diligent in cultivation to obtain more cultivation resources, but this also caused dissatisfaction among the aristocratic children. Luo Chuan felt that this kind of test was more fair and the division of classes was more reasonable, but the resource treatment of A. level students made him feel very frustrated. The 7-day usage time of the Stardust magic tool every month was a good thing for others, and it was of no use to him at all. He had a Stardust magic tool, and it was the kind that had no time limit. So he decisively gave his usage time to Guan Xingwei. Guan Xingwei didn't want his cultivation time. Finally, he tricked him into saying that there was an ancestral Stardust magic tool at home that he couldn't use, and Guan Xingwei agreed to accept it. In this way, Luo Chuan began his studies at Xingyao Magic High School. Apart from class time, most of his time was spent on meditation. After more than 10 days of effort, Luo Chuan finally lit up his 7th star. When the 7th star was lit up, he couldn't wait to enter the inheritance space of the bracelet, thinking about the upcoming inheritance treasure, and couldn't help but laugh. But when he entered the inheritance space, he was instantly dumbfounded. What about the promised treasure? Why is the space still empty, with nothing? Unlike before, there were some small hills raised on the ground in the distance. He looked up and found that these hills were only a few tens of meters high. After wandering around for a while, he didn't find any traces of treasure. He thought to himself, what's the situation? There are already 7 stars, why can't we still release the treasure? Do we need to successfully control all 7 stars? Or can we successfully release magic to open the treasure? Luo Chuan returned to his consciousness space and carefully counted it again. The number of stars is indeed 7, no problem. Is it really necessary to release all 7 stars? Is magic enough? That's a bit too much, just give a hint. Luo Chuan was feeling frustrated about his missing treasure, and Guan Xingwei called. Chuan, have you heard about it? The final exam at the end of the year is the same as the opening exam this time, so we still need to test the cultivation time. Luo Chuan was surprised. This is a good thing for us. That's right, let's see how those big families compete with us for resources. In a few days, the school emblem will be issued. I heard that the school emblem can display the number of stars each person cultivates. How many stars did you have? Just 7 stars. Oh, 7 stars. Did you cheat? I only have 3 stars, and the 4th one hasn't lit up yet. You forgot. I said there is an ancestral Stardust magic tool, right? Oh, I said, but with this Stardust magic tool, the cultivation speed is indeed very fast. I won't tell you, let's continue to cultivate. Luo Chuan thought, at the end of the year, I will still test the underworld. In terms of time, there are special rewards for the top 10, and we need to find a way to get them. Luo Chuan had to temporarily give up searching for the treasure and continue to meditate for the reward of the top 10. Every year when new students enroll, the legitimate children of various major families will begin to gather their small forces and attract some promising individuals to serve them. This year's special testing method has disrupted their original plans, making them appear less powerful than they imagined. As a magician without strong strength, how can you make others obediently serve you? Resources and wealth can certainly attract some people, but the competition among major families is too fierce. No one is short of money, and others can offer the same price as you. Moreover, people who only use money to buy often have little potential and development. It's okay to be a cannon fodder for miscellaneous work. Large families do not lack such people, they need potential stocks that can become the backbone. Now, they can only wait for the moment when they put on the school emblem. The emblem can show the number of stars lit up by each person. The big families believe in their advantages in this area, and each family focuses on cultivating their own legitimate children with endless resources. The Stardust magic tool can be used casually, using their best legitimate children to attract a large number of followers, and then selecting the potential stocks they need to further attract and control them, ultimately cultivating them into their own people. But this time the plan was disrupted again. When the new students put on the school emblem, everyone's eyes were attracted by Luo Chuan. 7 stars, isn't that nonsense? This is a record-breaking achievement, isn't it? The children of the big family haven't even reached 7 yet. Just as everyone was discussing, Wang Yunkai, Ming Yueqi, and other legitimate children who were specially trained by the big family frowned. They all reached 6 stars under the family's key training, hoping to use this opportunity to enhance the reputation of the family in the new generation. However, the spotlight was on this unknown where it came from. All the boys who came out have been snatched, and their current situation is very awkward. They are willing to recruit, but they find themselves lacking confidence. Mingyue Qi gave Qian Daodu a glance, and Qian Daodu understood and walked towards Luo Chuan's position. Hello, my name is Qian Daodu. Luo Chuan looked up and saw a sweet and lovely-looking girl looking at him with a smile on her face. He said in a slightly coquettish tone, "Your name is Luo Chuan, right? You're amazing, 7 stars. How did you practice?" Luo Chuan confirmed that he didn't know her before and saw the 5 stars on her school emblem. He confirmed that she should be from a big family. After thinking about it, he went to Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com and said, "Oh, Mingxiu, that's it." After closing his eyes and demonstrating, Qian Daodu was stunned. Looking at him, she forgot all the things she had planned when she came and thought to herself, "Are you sick? Is that what I meant? Are you angry with me?" However, she also saw that she didn't want to say anything, so she said, Okay, you keep going." After that, she looked at Minjiweki with a resentful expression and went to see her. Minjiweki was still thinking about why she came back so quickly. After listening to her story, she was speechless and thought to herself, what does this person mean? Do you not want to be wooed, or do you want to wait to raise your own value? She couldn't understand why, so she said to Qian Daodu, "Let's do this for now, observe before we talk." Most of the other members of the big family also went to see Luo Chuan's attitude, feeling that there was no possibility of successfully wooing him for the time being, so they had to wait and see. Only when others failed to woo him, could they not be considered a failure. No one is bothering Luo Chuan for the time being. He doesn't want to work for the big family, so it's better to have some freedom. The most important thing now is to practice control, link all the stars together to release magic, and of course, he can't relax in his meditation. The reward for the year-end assessment is still very tempting. But for several consecutive days, Luo Chuan realized that he couldn't control the star child. No matter how much he tries, the feedback from Xingzi is like waiting for someone, which means, if everyone is not here, the banquet cannot be held. Luo Chuan is not feeling well. What does it mean if everyone is not here? These are all 7 stars, what else is missing? Is magic not enough? It shouldn't be. How can I release magic if I can't control it? How to open a treasure? What's breaking the tradition? Isn't this deceiving my father? Luo Chuan struggled for several days without making any progress, so he decided to let it go and focus on meditation. Let's get the school's rewards first. He has already been ahead of most people, and as long as meditation is not relaxed, he will definitely have himself in the top 10. Inheritance cannot be obtained for the time being, and the rewards obtained cannot fly anymore. Natural talent. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Luo Chuan decisively refused everyone's persuasion. He only wanted to focus on cultivation. He couldn't practice control now, so he tried his best to cultivate in the dark. After all, the star child needed to improve his level through cultivation. However, after a few days of cultivation, Luo Chuan discovered that there were signs of the star child gathering again in the nebula. What kind of ghost is this? The 8th star child. Did I poke the star child's nest? Luo Chuan, who couldn't understand, quickly called his mother quietly to inquire. Dong Shuzhen thought for a moment, unsure, and said, maybe it's a natural talent. I'll check it for you. Don't worry, let it go in a few days. Let's talk more about it in detail when we come back from vacation. Luo Chuan can't control it now and has nothing to do. He decided to enter meditation again. If there are more stars, there will be more. If it's a natural talent, wouldn't that be better? After thinking about it, Luo Chuan no longer worries about how many stars there are in total. It's time for class and meditation, and soon it will be the end of the month for vacation. Returning home, Dong Shuzhen took out all the information she had found about innate talent. Luo Chuan looked at a large pile of information in front of him, and the family began to analyze the matter. Father Luo Ming first said, "Your mother and I have been studying carefully at home these days. Natural talent is a unique ability, and having an extra star is also considered a unique ability. From this perspective, this is natural talent." Luo Chuan said, "But the number of star is not fixed. Since ancient times, it has been based on 7 stars. Dong Shuzhen took a few tables and said to them, "You see, natural talent is basically something that was not before, and later it appeared to be one person. It is rare for 2 people to have the same ability, and it can be said that there are similarities, but there is no absolute similarity. I think having an extra basic star should also be considered natural talent. One way, because there have never been 8 stars before, but now it does, which is in line with the basic characteristics of innate talent. Luo Chuan looked at the information in front of him and felt that it was indeed the case. He said to his parents, so this basically confirms that this is innate talent, right? Dong Shuzhen said again, well, it's certain. You said you can't control it now because the number of stars is not even. So, you should condense this star first and see if you can control it. Luo Ming nodded and said, well, condense it first and see the situation. Based on these materials, you should be born with talent. This can be considered a happy event, ha ha ha. Yes, it's a big celebration. I'll go buy delicious food and treat our great magician well in the evening. After that, Dong Shuzhen went out to buy something. The father and son chatted for a while, and Luo Chuan returned to the house. Mingxiu has gone. Since he has decided to condense it first, don't leave any ink marks. Confirmed that he was born with a natural talent, Luo Chuan felt in a good mood and his cultivation speed was faster than before. After more than 20 days of hard work, the 8th star was finally condensed and completed. Luo Chuan tried to control the star and found that he still felt the same way. Before everyone arrived, he couldn't open the banquet. Luo Chuan was a bit impatient this time. Originally, his cultivation speed of the 7th star was far ahead. Now that he has condensed the 8th star, others have also completed the 7th star. Now that he has started practicing control, he still can't open the banquet here. How many stars can he open the banquet? Do we have to gather a table for 10 people? Luo Chuan is also angry, isn't it just Mingxiu? I will continue to cultivate and gather all 10 stars for you sooner or later. Let's see if you have a feast or not. However, Luo Chuan also discovered that although he condensed the 8th star, the school emblem still displayed 7 stars. The 6 stars surrounded each other to form a hexagon, and there was no extra space for it to display the 8th star. This made him relax and continue his meditation. He thought about how much more he could have, but he couldn't directly cultivate 49 stars. That would be a mid-level mage. As time passed day by day, more and more students reached 7 stars and began practicing control. Guan Xingwei also began to practice control. He was considered a fast student among ordinary students. Every time he asked Luo Chuan how many stars he controlled, Luo Chuan could only awkwardly shift the topic, looking at the upcoming 9th star and silently thinking, my baby is suffering. I also want to control. When the 9th star was completed, Luo Chuan had no excitement at all and only wanted to hurry to the next one. Just as he continued his meditation with peace of mind, a voice came to his mind. Preliminary compliance, opening guidelines. Luo Chuan was startled. What was the situation? Is it because inheritance has been opened? Thinking of inheritance, he quickly entered the inheritance space of the bracelet and was shocked as soon as he entered. This small hill has doubled in length, and there is a huge stone tablet in front of the mountain, with colorful words flashing on it. Luo Chuan excitedly ran towards the stone tablet, feeling happy in his heart. Treasure, treasure, finally appeared, made a fortune. Made a fortune. When he arrived at the stone tablet, Luo Chuan was stunned and almost spewed out old blood. He looked for the special word at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Completely incomprehensible, pictographs. Oracle bone script. I don't understand how to find treasure. This mood is like riding a roller coaster, it's better to have a heart attack soon. Luo Chuan shouted out directly, playing. What kind of bird language is that? Perhaps he heard Luo Chuan speak, and a head popped out from the stone tablet. He looked at Luo Chuan, then at the words on the stone tablet, and muttered to himself, I was wrong again. Luo Chuan looked at the guy who was probing his brain and was about to ask him a question when he rubbed his hand on the stone tablet, and the words on it were actually changed to Chinese. Then it floated down from the stone tablet, and indeed it did. Luo Chuan saw it very clearly, and that guy's whole body was almost transparent. Ghosts. Luo Chuan people are all foolish. What situation is this? What does this ghost do? The one guarding the treasure. He was lost in thought when the ghost said in awkward Chinese, "Hello, I'm Inheritance. The introducer of the inheritance space, wait a moment." He flipped out a book and looked it up for a while before saying, it's the introducer. Luo Chuan didn't come to his senses for a long time. What kind of introducer is this? It's so weird. Is this Chinese currently learned? Do you still need to look up books? After hesitating for a moment, he asked the ghost, "Did you just learn Chinese?" The ghost said, "Yes, I used to. Before. Back then. How should I say? Look here." He then asked Luo Chuan to look at the stone tablet. Luo Chuan looked at the words on the tablet, which read, "I have only been learning Chinese for a few years and I am not proficient yet. This stone tablet can translate various languages. If you have any questions, please let me know and I will use the stone tablet to tell you." Luo Chuan looked at the words on the stone tablet and kept thinking in his mind, can the stone tablet be used as a translator? It feels like I'm talking to you through voice, and you're typing back to me. What exactly is this stone tablet? Is it a monitor? He tried to calm himself down. There were too many things to understand, and he wanted to know as soon as possible what was going on in this inheritance space. Mysterious inheritance. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Luo Chuan sorted his thoughts in his mind, looked at this strange ghost, and tentatively asked, "What kind of inheritance is this?" The ghost seemed to have guessed that he would ask. With a smile on his face, he wiped the stone tablet, and the words on the tablet changed. You will receive the inheritance of the god of Nazca. The bracelet in your hand is an inheritance token refined by the god of Nazca from the core fragments of the earth, and it is also a sacred artifact of Nazca that can help you achieve the throne of Nazca. Luo Chuan looked at the ghost with a devout expression and asked in confusion, "Can you be more specific?" Me. Is earth magic related to the bracelet? The ghost wiped the stone tablet again and said, "The bracelet is made of fragments from the core of the earth, so it can make you 100% awaken earth magic, and it is a unique earth magic." Luo Chuan understood why the old Taoist said it can make him awaken magic, and emotions are fixed even in any magic series. So, do I have 9 stars that are also related to the bracelet? The words on the stone tablet have been changed again. Yes, but not entirely. The holy artifact is composed of 9 pieces, which means that the recipient of the inheritance may have 9 stars, but it is also possible that they cannot reach 9 stars. Only within 6 months can they reach 9 stars. The blessing power of the holy artifact will disappear after more than half a year, and it will not be possible to increase the number of stars. If it does not meet the requirement of 9 stars, it will be considered unqualified. The holy artifact will leave and look for a suitable inheritor again. After reading this explanation, Luo Chuan suddenly said, "Fortunately, I have not relaxed my meditation. This is basically almost half a year, and in a few days, I will not reach 9 stars. Does the star-shaped bracelet disappear automatically?" The ghost nodded this time, and Luo Chuan asked, "Why do we need to reach 9 star-shaped bracelets? What are the special benefits?" The ghost looked at Luo Chuan with a proud smile and asked him to look at the stone tablet. In the world, 9 is the extreme number, and the maximum is 9. Isn't there a related record in your Chinese civilization? As for the benefits. First, you have more magical abilities than others, and you can experience this. Secondly, all of your magic series will have the power of devouring, growing by devouring spirit species, soul species, or fragments of the same magic series, and ultimately becoming celestial species. Thirdly, your spiritual power will far exceed that of ordinary people, increasing your resistance to spiritual magic. Fourthly, it can enhance your magic affinity and control, making your magic unique. Luo Chuan was dumbfounded by all these benefits. What are these? He can understand that there are more demons, but what devours spiritual and soul seeds? Do you still have Tianzhong? Spiritual power. I have no idea at all. The ghost looked at Luo Chuan's misty appearance and proudly turned around a few times. It was his turn to pat him with a high toe and pointed to the stone tablet, saying, "What's going on, kid? Are you scared? You haven't seen so many benefits before, have you?" Luo Chuan regained his senses and spread his hand, saying, "The first thing I know is what the situation is, what do the rest mean? Why isn't there a treasure? Where is the treasure?" This time it was the ghost's turn to circle, thinking to himself, what kind of person is this? Why don't you know anything? Also, is the treasure the key? Shouldn't you be shocked by the heavenly seed? Control, that's only high-level mages who can access it. You can have this realm at a beginner's level, aren't you surprised? He had to say on the stone tablet, "You don't understand what heavenly seed is." Control. Luo Chuan shook his head and helplessly said, "I just woke up a few days ago, and the magic hasn't been released yet. I haven't learned or heard of what you said." The ghost thought for a moment, but now it's too early to say these things. Luo Chuan saw what he was thinking again and asked again, "Where is the treasure?" The ghost looked at him with disdainful eyes, meaning, "You miser." Then he wiped the stone tablet and a few big characters appeared. "Go to the altar of time and space, it's not here." Luo Chuan saw the altar of time and space and thought to himself, "What is this place?" Just as he was about to ask the ghost, he saw him looking at him with a disdainful expression. He quickly accompanied his smiling face to the ghost and respectfully asked, "That Mr. Ghost, at this moment." Before he could finish speaking, the ghost shouted at him, "You ghost." Then he realized that he couldn't say the following words and went to wipe the stone tablet again. "You're the ghost. You ghost master." Luo Chuan saw that he had said the wrong thing, and then remembered that he had not asked him what his name was. He felt embarrassed and quickly said, "I was wrong. I forgot to ask you how to call me, sorry, It's my fault." "You calm down." The ghost didn't continue to argue with him, and on the stone tablet, it showed, "My name is Uka, a servant of the great Nazca god, who manages books for his master. When his master ascended, he saved my soul in a sacred artifact, allowing me to have eternal life and search for the successor of the Nazca inheritance for his master." Luo Chuan was surprised and said, "The servant of the Nazca god. That's not from thousands of years ago. Old master." Then he respectfully bowed to Uka, which made him feel embarrassed. On the stone tablet, it is written, "Don't call me senior. When I was sealed in, I was not much older than you. Just call me Uka, and when you fully grasp the inheritance, you will be my new master." When Luo Chuan saw how effective this flattery was, although it might be his master or something in the future, he now knew nothing and had to ask him if there was anything, didn't he? "Let's coax it a bit, it's important to find the treasure first." So with a smile on his face, he said, "It's all in the future. Now we're all brothers. Can you tell me what's going on with this time and space altar at the book garden www.zhaozuiyuan.com? Uka clearly felt a lot better. On the stone tablet, it showed, there are multiple spatial nodes in the time and space altar, and the main altar is in the Nazca Holy Land, which is fixed and unchanging. Other spatial nodes randomly change positions and do not appear in fixed places. Even if you find a spatial node, you can't go there for now. At least a mid-level mage can enter, otherwise you will definitely die. Don't think about it now, hurry up and become a mid-level mage." Luo Chuan looked at Uka with great disappointment. "Do I have any resources or rewards now?" "Yes, this inheritance space is the best resource. When you can kill the demons, you will know." Now you can practice control and experience the control that enhances the affinity of the stars. Luo Chuan then remembered to control this matter. Yes, the inheritance has come out, indicating that everyone is here and we can start a banquet. How can you forget about the important thing of practice control? Uka displayed on the stone tablet again, I'm going to rest. It takes a lot of energy to communicate with the stone tablet like this. Don't come to me if you have nothing to do, wait for me to graduate from Chinese. After reading it, Luo Chuan realized that Uka had disappeared long ago and thought to himself, can you control it? Come out and give it a try. When he stabilized his mind and started practicing control, he found that his star son was like a little dog he raised at home, running over with every wave of his hand and begging for a hug from his owner. Is this the star son's affinity? That's great. It seems that there is no big problem communicating with the stars, but the arrangement of the stars is not yet proficient, just like a group of little dogs you keep. If you let them line up and follow you, how can they line up without practicing well? Luo Chuan's heart was filled with joy. He heard Guan Xingwei say that communication with Xingzi is the most difficult, and being able to communicate and arrange is a skill. Practice more and it will be good. Now he has directly saved the trouble of communication, and he feels that this inheritance is really amazing. He will definitely make a lot of money.